know it's from this area down there. Used to be a set of tracks over here, about to go here, and run up all the way that way to Leland.
Back in 1867, there was a train coming along here going back to Wilmington.
Supposedly Joe Baldwin.
Joe Baldwin was riding.
And supposedly he was stopped off the train and
got ran over by the train and his head cut off. And
lost his head.
Cut his head off.
Shortly after the wreck happened, people started seeing a mysterious light.
And it had the appearance of a full moon.
People started saying that it was Joe Baldwin looking for his head.
They say you can see his light going down the road.
Throughout the years, people see the light.
I was very fortunate many years ago to see the Maco light myself. This was back in the 60s. And all of a sudden we just decided we'd drive out and see if we could see the Maco light. It was about midnight and it was a moonlit night. We got out of the car and started to walk down the tracks. And so we'd been there about 15 minutes looking around and we decided to leave. We figured nothing was going to happen. And so we had gotten back in the car and my husband said he was going to look one more time. So he got out and started down the track. And just as he got onto the railroad track, this light appeared. The light started coming toward him, just as we had heard it would. But as we turned around to look, the light started receding. And it just went back down the tracks and gradually faded in the distance.
We're here where the trestle used to cross the creek at Maco, on the east side of Maco Road. In 2007, NC Higgs decided to do an investigation down here at Maco. It happened to be a moonless night, and we did our normal investigation pattern, which is to do pictures, video, EVP sessions. We're doing recordings. We're trying to do everything we can to capture any kind of spirit or anything paranormal so we can prove it to ourselves and to other people. It got about 12 o'clock at night, and I took 2 pictures to the east and 2 pictures to the west where the tracks used to run, and I asked Joe Baldwin to show himself. The next day when I was reviewing the pictures, all 4 of those pictures should have been pitch black. On the 3rd picture, there was something there that was like a greenish look to it, and it turned out to be something very special.
There was interest in the Maco light from people all over the country. There was an article in Life magazine in the 50s about the Maco light with a picture of it. I just grew up in a tradition of ghost stories.
I had a lady, Nancy Roberts, who is a famous author, come to my grade school and tell us the story of the Maco light and other North Carolina ghosts.
A writer named Nancy Roberts had just put out a couple of books of ghost stories.
I was very intrigued by it, and my mother bought me Nancy Roberts' book.
The thing about Nancy Roberts' books that was so different from any that we had had before was the fact that her husband was a well-known photographer.
And when we were making our video for NC Higgs, I actually contacted Nancy Roberts, and she gave us permission to use her original 1950s photograph of the Maco light in our video. So we know the story of the Maco light and Joe Baldwin. From my personal experience, I'm not really sure if historically it is accurate, but there's definitely something to this story, whether it's Joe Baldwin or someone else.
I have an idea that the light somehow was indeed something caused by probably physical conditions.
I believe personally there is a spirit or paranormal entity in these woods where the tracks used to be. Otherwise, I would not have gotten that picture that I got.
It may indeed have something to do with something supernatural.
With my experience as a ghost hunter or paranormal observer, I've been to many places throughout North Carolina and Virginia over the years, and This one definitely ranks right up there with there's something going on that is not understood.